Hi guys, welcome to our IG live. So remember, this IG live was supposed to be Sunday, but um, yeah, we couldn't do Sunday because of. We are here, and I'm so glad that you joined me. Yeah, while we are waiting for the guest, I'll just give time for people to a few people to join in. And it's a tricky time. So yeah. Um, let's see if we can get one. Okay. Hi Anthony, thank you for joining me. Anyone else that might be watching? Yay! Empire Advisory Lane is here. Anna Mathis is here. So let me get her on and then we shall begin. Um, yeah. So, hey,
Hi, how are you?
you look so pretty.
Oh, thank you so much. My son has just lit a candle for us. I wish I could show it to you.
Oh, please do.
Are you having a beautiful day?
Yes, it is a beautiful day. It's cold. It rained in the morning, but here we are. Thank you so much for joining me and Hannah. I'm so thrilled to have you. You have no idea.
You are welcome. Anytime. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Can you hear
Yeah.
me okay?
Awesome.
Okay, so how are you? How are you doing? So before you say actually, so guys that are watching, my name is Irene and I sometimes go by Unraveling Princess. And today I have the awesome privilege of having Hannah Gair. She is amazing. She is a boss. She's a beauty. She's a beast. She's all of that. So yeah, and she's a mom and she's a MD and she does so much. So I'll just let her introduce herself and then, yeah, you can just get to know her a little bit before we begin. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, hi guys. Thanks for having me on tonight. As Irene, I met Irene a couple of years ago now. Had the privilege of having her actually come and stay with me here in Australia, which was beautiful. Um,
Yay.
So as she said, yeah, I run a company. I'm an investment property strategist, which I absolutely love. And that's all about equipping and empowering women. And has always been my thing. Hence me writing the
Yeah.
book that we'll get to a little bit later. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yay. Okay. So let's begin. When we met in 2017, before I left your home, we talked a little bit, and I know you said, I wrote a book. Do you want to read it? I said, yes. And then you gave me a book that absolutely changed my life. And I remember after I read it, I sent you something that I had written, like my takeaway from that book. And that book is called Ravishing. And unfortunately, I don't have my copy here today, but I'd like you to tell the people um, what what was the story behind Ravishing and why did you write it?
Yeah, so it actually birthed. I was in a conference in Chicago, and I heard an author speak by the name of Brene Brown, and she
Yeah.
talks about the its theory, and it's about owning a story and actually stepping into your story. We all have the good parts, we all have the ugly parts, and it's about embracing that and just being willing to share that with other people, because if I've been through something, then I know that somebody else has. So it's
Yeah.
always from a position of healing. And I
Mhm.
just sort of tapped into my life, and I guess I
Mhm.
just exposed myself in a very real and raw way. And
Yeah.
book.
I love it. And I think when you say that you have a story and if you've gone through something, there's definitely someone else that has gone through it. And for me, when I started my podcast and sharing videos and all, I felt like there's something that God is doing in my life and I share it. And when I do share it, people, get back and be like, oh, it's going through the same thing. And also it's really encouraging. But I'd like to read something from the book. And it says, to the handful of people who said I could, that's like your dedication before the book starts. To the handful of people who said I could, I know who you are and love you deeply. And my attention went to the handful of people who said I could. And for a moment, I paused and I remembered or even thought about those people who tell you, yes, you can, yes, you can, yes, you can. And I know you're one of those people. But I'd like for you to address, why it is important for us to encourage other people's dreams or for even the person watching to encourage someone else's dream.
Absolutely. I am a real advocate for that. And I think that we all have lights and every light needs to, and I think there's enough room for everyone to shine. And I think come from a position of ease. And when you come from a position of actually knowing who you are, then it's actually celebrate other people. And I think when you deal with the storms of people being deeply critical of you, and normally that comes from them filling in the blanks of actually not knowing the story in its full entirety. So they make these assumptions up or they fill in the gaps and then they form an opinion and then they speak that opinion out. And I just, but when we come together, we're better together, right? There's unity and there's something very strong and something very empowering when we work together as a team, as a tribe. We link arms and we step in to whatever. We all have different visions. We all have different callings. And I think we need to be champions of that as opposed to critical, like being critical of that. Does that make sense?
It does. And I love what she said, and someone has said it again, that there's always room for everyone to shine. And I think the problem comes in when we think that, if I push someone forward, then where will that leave me, and yet there's actually room for everyone.
Every single one is birthed with different gifts. And like we are all unique. And I think the more we celebrate that, and I think the more that we harness each other's differences, where I'm weak, you are strong. Where you are strong, I am weak. Just about just along aside one another in a really authentic way. And I call life a beautiful mess because that's what it is. There are so many strands and there's so many complexities to life. And you might be doing well in one area of life and then you've got a gong show, something like falling apart in a different area. And so I just think when you've got your crew, you've got your tribe of people who really believe in you and who really speak life into you, you can't let them go. They're just too bright. Yeah,
I love it. So Auntie Hannah, I'm going to talk about something that you wrote about in the book. You talked about how you literally opened yourself up in this book. And I'd like to encourage everyone that's watching, if you're in Australia, get in touch with her and get that book. And if you want the book on my side of the world, we can work it out and get you copies, right?
Yes.
So in the book, you talked about being sexually abused as a child. And I'd just like for you to talk about how that sexual abuse as a child affected your relationship as an adult, and also why it's important for us to share the hardships that we go through, like you did in the book, to expose, all that and find healing.
So how did it affect me as an adult?
Your relationships as an adult.
Yeah. So my understanding is those who survive sexual abuse, and I use the word survive. I don't like the word victim because I think that is a mindset. We are survivors and we have a story, and I just think that really, really, it's a different way that we actually engage life. So whatever our story is, we've survived it, and we need to position ourselves and posture ourselves like that. And I remember being in grade 11 And it was actually my ex-husband who was brave enough. He was seeing some tendencies in me or some character traits that actually showed to him that there was something not quite, when I say not quite right, but he could see. And he was actually studying it at the time he's a pastor, and he was studying counseling. So he identified behaviors inside my character. And he just simply asked me one day, have you been sexually abused? And it was like I had all these suppressed memories. I knew that there was something that made me feel dark inside as I grew up, but I didn't quite know because I had buried them so deeply. And there's shame. There's so much shame associated when somebody has violated you. And that could be mentally, or that could be in a very harsh physical way. But the emotions, the feelings are all the same.
Yeah.
So I was engaged. I was very sexually promiscuous throughout my teenage years, if I'm to be truthful. And I think that I was always looking for something to fill that void, that dark, that hard place that was weeping, and it was a wound. And then I just had the courage. I had to face it. And it was black and it was dark, and I used alcohol throughout it to try and numb my pain, or I'd go to the local club and dance the night away just to try. But when the music stops and when you sober up, the feeling's still there.
Yeah.
We have to step into it, and we have to step into whatever it is with courage. And for me at that time, it was dealing with sexual abuse. Yeah.
Amazing. And I kind of identify with what you're saying, because there's so much shame. You feel like it's not even about the other person, it's just a shame that comes into you, and you just don't know what to do. And I think when we come to that point of, okay, I'm alone, and all these thoughts come in, it's the grace of God that actually takes us through, and we come out victorious. And right now you're able to talk about it and testify, of the darkness that has ended.
Yeah.
And you're my hero, literally. So you mentioned in the book that at a certain point or in your life, you were like an onion that had layers and layers and layers. And so you mentioned in the book and say, but I didn't want to be an onion. I wanted to be a banana. So you just peel the banana and you remove the peel and you'll see it right there. And I'd just like for you to share how you became an onion, layered up and protective and walled up, and how did you transition to being a banana, and how is that working out?
I love it. I love it. Well, I think an onion, if we're talking about the layers, I think that's actually self-protection, isn't it? Because cover up, if we create boundaries, or if we put barriers in place, or if we have the ability to hide behind our pain, and we mask it all differently. Like everybody has a mask that they pick up to put on their face, right? And they're not living their true self, but the pain's too hard to bear. So I think in order to transition from an onion and to become a banana, firstly, you need to be willing to acknowledge and accept that life may have been hard for you at certain points. And what we don't deal with, we can't change. Right? And I'm a believer too. We aren't making a decision in order to heal, then we're actually making a decision. Does that make sense? Because we're remaining stagnant. So I think that in order to go from a banana, I meant from an onion to a banana, it's absolutely having the courage to go into those dark places and to live and to actually sit in them, to work through professional help that we need to, but then recover. We don't stay there. Don't stay in the dark, right? Because then you spiral and you spiral. Acknowledge the pain, but move through the pain. And once we come to a place of healing, then obviously we get rid of layers, and we identify ourselves as a banana.
Right. I want to be a banana. I read that and I was like, ouch. I feel like sometimes I'm an onion. And of course, like you said, it's self-protection. You tend to protect yourself from things in the past, you know, and all. But then I have to sit down and be like, do I want to be like this forever? No, you know, and acknowledge and start the healing process. And I know you're one of those, huh?
Sorry, honey, can I just interject there without
Yeah.
cutting you off? But
Mhm.
just with that becoming a banana, when you start dealing with your pain, right, whatever that
Mhm.
looks, you
Yeah.
start to actually get tools, and you know how
Mhm.
to do new things that come your way. So when life throws you a curveball, which we all get at different times, then we have the tools and we have the know-how to not stay stuck. We can
Right.
actually identify our behaviors, and we actually understand that, well, if I approach this, this, and this to my life, the tools that we've been taught through counseling or through healing, then it's easy to stay a banana.
Right, right. And it's actually important that we identify our pain and the things that we go through that you see, you know, patterns repeating themselves. And you're one of those people who actually encouraged me to see a counselor. And right now I'm glad that I did. So glad that I did. So in the book, there's a quote by Brené Brown, and she says, if we want to fully experience love and belonging, we must believe that we are worthy of love and belonging. Could you just talk about that? I don't know how.
Yeah, look, that's deep, isn't it?
Yeah.
I that if you don't know your value,
Mm-hmm.
don't understand who you are, and when real, authentic love comes your way, it's very easy to deflect it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because protective mechanism. But
Yeah.
if you truly come to a place of understanding your worth, then you can actually receive good, like the goodness, the blessings into your life. But how do you receive something you don't think you're worthy, right?
Wow.
Because
Right.
rejecting. So that would be my very humble approach on it. But
Wow. Yeah.
so harp on about knowing who you are and knowing your value and standing true in
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm. And it will probably help you to not sell yourself short of what you deserve, maybe, or what you need. I love
Absolutely at all. And I
it.
think that the world screams at us constantly who we need to be, what we need to look like, what's
Mhm.
acceptable and what's not acceptable. So what we do is we become robotic to what we believe is normal, and we live inside these perimeters of safety
Mhm.
rather than actually having the courage and the boldness to step out into our own uniqueness. Because
Mhm.
actually stepping, caring greatly and living a life that is worthy and that is bold, it takes
Wow.
courage, and
It
it
does.
takes tenacity, and it
Mhm.
takes a willingness to be judged, but being
Mhm.
okay when judgments come, because you know the truth of who you are. And when you know the truth of who you are, you can actually do anything.
Mhm. Amazing. Okay,
Water
so
back.
yeah. So one of the other things that you address in the book that you were struggling with as a teenager or as a young adult was your weight. And I know there's so many girls, actually, more than boys, so many girls that will look at themselves and feel ugly, and they will go to ridiculous, extents to make sure they look a certain way. And like you were sharing previously, the world is screaming at us and selling to us something that is counterfeit. So we want to look like a girl on a magazine. But then in the book, you said weight does not equate to beauty. And
Wait,
so, yeah,
it
yeah,
does not, my friend. It does
mhm,
not. And I,
yeah,
when we are looking in a broken mirror, And that's what the world offers us. It offers us a broken mirror. Because if we're going to try and live up to what we believe society is screaming at us to be, then we're not going to ever match up, because it always changes, right? And to tell you, have we heard of editing? The girls in the magazines, and coming from a place of working in the media, I know they're not real. They're actually distorted images. And I just think when a woman is at ease with herself, I'm not saying don't be healthy, don't look after your body. We've got to do that. We're stewards of our body, right? We've got responsibility for that.
Yeah.
But if we're trying to conform to a certain image to please somebody else or to find value, then you're going to be filling an empty vessel constantly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. And I remember the time when we were at your home and you left us in the morning, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to go to the gym very fast and then I'll come back. And I was like, wow, she even works out. That's even better, you know, like you're just a boss. But I wonder if you think sometimes as women, if we idolize our weight and our bodies, and what is the balance, you know, between knowing that my body is the temple of God and I need to keep it healthy responsibly, but then also not overly going to idolizing it and, you know, that's the balance.
Right. So I happily go to the gym 5 days a week. I do. And I love it. It's my outlet. It gives me good mental health, because we know that exercise releases good endorphins. The serotonin levels get boosted. You know, the music's playing and I have a little dance to the music. I've got an amazing workout partner that he keeps me accountable each morning, which I love. But I think it is that moderation, everything in moderation. I'm almost 40, so things have changed. I've birthed 3 kids. My body's but what I mean by that is there just has to come a time where you just accept yourself and you've got to take life with ease. And when you're not looking, comes back to that broken mirror, when you're not looking for validation in the wrong areas, right? Sort of, I guess, approach life with a very holistic mindset.
Right. Oh,
yeah. So the more we're looking at other people to get validation, the further we're going to fall, right? Because what one person likes, another person's not going to like. So, and I remember being in television, and I've got a big vein that runs down my forehead, right? And it's alive and it pumps out, and in the summer it's so bad. And I remember the producers like stopping the set going, girl, you need to go and sort your head out. I'm like, wow. So, and I succumbed to that pressure of going lasered, and I've tried like all sorts of things, because in TV land you have to look a certain way. And then I thought, it makes me different. And I actually had one person say to me, I know when you're embarrassed because it, you know, it comes out. So now I make it a right? Like, it's just my vein. It's just who I am. I can't get rid of it in your life. But when you embrace the good, the bad, the ugly, you know, in fact, I take that back. There is nothing ugly about us. We might perceive it to be, but we are all beautifully made in the image of God.
Yes. And when when you see yourself from that point of view, then you won't look for a producer's validation, a guy's validation, a boyfriend's validation, or even your girlfriend. So amazing, love it. Yeah. So you're really passionate about women taking their place and being empowered and changing lives, and you're, you know, an MD of a company, and you're a woman, and that is like, so I don't know, it blows my mind so much. But how can we as women, especially, you know, 21st century, where now So women's lives matter, but now they're saying, well, the boys have been neglected, and so the girls are kind of taking a back seat for now. But I'm also seeing so many girls coming to, the forefront and fighting. But why does the world need the woman watching right now to step up and walk in her purpose and boldly live who God has made her to be? Why is it important?
Because we have a job to do, right? And live beyond yourself and having eyes to see and actually step into your calling and live that with conviction brings beauty. And I think that the world needs strong women. We have a role to play. We are role modeling to the younger generation. We have impact that only our own uniqueness can bring to this world. And if we shy away from that, well, then we're actually neglecting who we are.
Right.
We must step into the convictions of our heart and do it with authority and with purpose and with conviction, and actually know that you have a vital role to play where you are today. You have a influence, even if you don't think that you do, you do. People watch you. You may not think they do, but they are. So I think you have to rise. The time is now to rise. The time is now to tell your story. The time now is to step up and encourage the one next to you and to live a life of selflessness in order to impact those around you. Live with boundaries, right? But live a strong life that is fiercely determined to absolutely step into the convictions that have been placed on your heart. And don't do it with shame, don't do it with doubt, but you step up and you step into it and you live out exactly the purpose that is placed before you.
Wow. Thank you for that. I feel like you're speaking to me, like for real. So 2020 has been a very, very unique year all around the world because of the pandemic. But I know there's so many other good things that have actually come out of this year. But how did you manage, when the pandemic hit and countries were closed, borders were closed, kids were home, you were not working as much anymore? How did that affect you? And, how did you manage through it all?
This year, like all of us, has been, who would have ever predicted it, right? Who would have ever predicted the pandemic to go on this time last year, if we looked into 2020, that this was actually going to happen? For me personally, this year has been probably one of the biggest years of my life. And now, as you know, I'm a single mum. I've got 3 children. I've got one with special needs. I remember when the pandemic hit, the borders between the states, so the children's father lives about 14 hours away, and he's on the phone going, I need to come and get them right now, otherwise I'm not going to see my children. I'm trying to make a really quick decision about, what does this mean for me? Will I lose them for how many months? In between time, my phone doesn't stop ringing because it's work. We've got crisis meetings going on. You step out and you go into a shopping center and nobody cares about you because they're all in here. So they're in this gathering mode, and there's fights going on over toilet paper and food. And I remember pushing my trolley, my cart, when I was getting my groceries, and I just stopped. And I just stopped and I looked around and I thought, I feel scared because I'm navigating by myself. I have a job to do to protect my children and to provide for my children. And I got home and I had my groceries, and again, let's go back to a mindset. So fear in, but do we allow it to stay? No, we don't. Because we need to speak rationale into that fear and disarm that fear with truth, right? And then I had a phone call from my like an executive team, and the great news about the industry and where we were heading. So everything was doom and gloom. And I sat in my chair and I cried. And I'm like, what do I do? And then within 24 hours, I'm like, I need to come up with solutions.
Mm-hmm.
I need to abandon the fear. I need to replace it with truth. And then I need to keep going. And I did. And look at us. I think in the greatest testing is the greatest growth. And I think all of us have absolutely discovered a strength within us as each people and as a world of how we actually are. So don't be afraid when challenges come your way.
Abandon the fear. Abandon the fear and leave it there. Amazing. Yeah. Okay. So what is your advice for girls out there who right now are in a place of, I don't know why I'm here. I'm in a crisis. I feel like there's so much inside of me, but I don't know how to get it out. They're basically at crossroads and they don't know what to do with their lives. Kind of like how you sat in your chair and was like, what am I going to do? What is your advice for that woman who is out there and they basically have no idea how to proceed?
Funny, because even during this call, I've just been feeling that I need to speak the word hope. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if there's anybody watching right now that feels hopeless. Yeah. And I actually tell you that there is hope, that what has been stolen from you will be restored. Mm-hmm. You know, the blessing will come. And I just think when you're in a moment of despair or a place of despair or there is hurt or you're trying to navigate uncharted waters, first and foremost, obviously, pray, realign, recenter, get your, realign your thinking, cling to the truth and the promises, right?
Right.
And that's really important that you have a good, solid team of people around you, a little tribe to navigate your next steps together.
Right.
But anyone sitting in a place where they're at crossroads, that's the time when you choose courage. And that's the time to step into something that seems scary, but you don't know what's on the other side of your yes. You have to say yes. So there's hope. And when you're across, be courageous because you don't know what's on the other side of your yes.
Right. And you'll never know unless you actually step up, you know?
Exactly.
Okay, so right now, I'd like for you to think about your younger self. I don't know what year, maybe like a period of your life where you seemed so lost and confused. And what would you say to that young self, yourself?
Yeah. I think you need to back yourself more. I think that if I could speak into a younger me, I think I was so crippled, and I think being in ministry too and living in a fishbowl kind of life for 20 years and succumb to so many judgments and criticism and all that kind of thing. I think if I was looking back and speaking to her now, it would be, it's water off a duck's back. Like if you know your value and you actually stand in that, then words can be deflected. But I think also it's, if you have something that's burning inside your heart and you're too scared to do it, I would say step into it and do it.
Wow.
Right now. 100%. There's seasons of maturing, right? And I think that we all understand that. And I think that there's tools and there's character building that we need to do to sometimes step into a season. Right. But I think that we always make steps in to fulfill that promise or that purpose that you have in your mind of knowing where you're going. So just keep going. Just keep going.
I love it. Wow. Well, that is it. I think I would sit all day with you and I would basically be blown away every time. But thank you so much for coming. Big kisses to the kids. And I'll hopefully see you one day again. Well, I will actually. I will. But
You
before you go,
will.
yeah,
You
before
will.
you go, I want to.
Yes, my darling. Well, thank you for your time, and thank you for everybody else that has joined us. I'm so encouraged. If you've got any questions, like to reach out, then please do so. Absolutely do so. So it's been
Yeah.
an honor. Thank you.
Oh, I love you so much. But before you go, I want to pray for you very quickly, and then you
Oh,
can go. I'll release you. Yeah, God, I thank you so much for Hannah. I thank you for her life. I thank you for the passion in her heart. I thank you for the wisdom, the words that she's spoken, the life that she has encouraged today. And I pray, oh God, that even as she calls out, that you will fill her up each and every moment. And for everything that she puts her hands to, I know you've already blessed it. May you multiply it. May she prosper in all that she does. I pray for her children. I pray for divine health. Pray for provision in the name of Jesus. And whatever she needs, oh God, may you provide it for her in the name of Jesus Christ. I prayed. Amen.
amen. You're so lovely. Thank you so much.
I
Have
love
a
you. Thank
wonderful
you
day.
so much. Oh, thank you. Bye.
Bye, sweetheart. Bye. Okay.
Okay, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for watching. It has really been an amazing time, like hearing from her, hearing her heart, speaking about hope, speaking about pain, speaking about courage. Honestly, I needed it too. So I pray that as you're watching, you'll be blessed. Keep on sharing, commenting, and let it go around. And if you need the book, as I said, it's called Ravishing. Just get in touch with me and I'll arrange for the books to come to you. Otherwise, have a good day. God bless you. And the frame in the back is a wall hanging, and it has the prayer of Jabez of First Chronicles 4:10, the prayer of Jabez. So if you need one, and you're in Uganda, in Kampala, you can just inbox me and I'll get it to you. Otherwise, God bless you. I love you. Bye.